お帰りなさいませ。
I'm not usually like crazy hype when watching these episodes, but I really want to get across that this episode had me feeling so many freaking emotions. So please like and subscribe. Stay right here because we're gonna go on a couple of tangents and rants and other crap while I'm doing this with you. Okay? So listen. We started the episode with basically Mugen Train. We start off with Rengoku's death, Tanjiro remembering it, Rengoku giving us the words to set your heart ablaze, and that already made me mildly sad as we're going in here. It's happened to me already once. I've watched Mugen Train. I was still okay. But what gets me during that moment is darn Inosuke crying, because he's the tough guy. Not really, but you know what I mean. And so watching him break down, it's one thing to watch Tanjiro break down. It's a whole nother thing to watch Inosuke break down with him. And I think at that time Zenitsu was still unconscious, right? And it's just like, I was like, oh no. And you think that's bad? You think it's bad you see Inosuke crying again? No. It gets way worse when you see the crow fly over and you realize he's talking to his brother and telling his brother that his older brother just died. Probably the only positive thing in his life. And then his brother starts breaking down and crying. Golly. Oh my gosh, you're talking about punching me in my eyeballs? Oh. Oh, the only part that makes me feel better, but still really freaking sad, is watching Tanjiro yell at the demons and calling him a freaking coward. And let's call him what he is, a freaking coward. Yeah, no, you can fight in the forest. Stop being a little punk. He starts running off. Even your boss thought you were a punk. That makes me so... that makes me so happy. We'll get to that later. But oh my gosh, dude. So many emotions in this episode. Shonen has a way of being like super predictable, but still punching you in your heart sack, and you just either really motivates you or makes you want to tear up. I was gonna say, young man carrying a book. So yeah, we get this introduction, I think in the entertainment district, of a young man basically being introduced by his family or being talked about. He goes to get a book, and there's a lot of weird imagery that I can't completely remember. I know there was like a moth and a scarf, and then like it was like the opening thing. It wasn't the opening, but like the opening thing they gave us for this episode. And then he's also eating with his family, and the family's like, wow, I wish you had a son like him. Yeah, your son's great. He's just like well behaved and everything. And then they go, yeah, our son just can't go out at the daytime, you know? He's got a really rare skin disease. And they were, oh, and I wrote, so he's a demon. Also, it turns out that demon child is not just a demon child, it's Muzan. I guess he just has multiple lives he likes to live. Probably, so my thing was, I was wondering if he just lives these multiple lives so he can get into really important positions of high society within the new modern world, and that way he has a lot of control. Because we see he's already basically pretty adapted to modern or modernizing Japan versus as we see with the Demon Slayers and them living kind of in rural Japan, and nothing's really changed. Also. So what's that stupid, worthless demon's name? Was it, Akaze. Akaze comes over to, Muzan and is like, yeah, so I couldn't get anything on the blue spider lily. So they're trying to do something with the lilies, which is worrisome. And then he also brings up the fact, he's like, yeah, I couldn't do all that, but I did kill a Hashira, though. And Boss is not happy about that. Boss expects you to kill a Hashira. You should be doing better than killing a Hashira. We need the whole corp gone. So you coming to me and going, but yeah, boss, I killed another Hashira, I got it, means absolutely nothing to him. And while I don't agree with him, because I don't want to see anybody else that I get as attached to as Rengoku die, Umai, I would like to watch, Akaze, whatever coward punk demon, get his blood curdling out of him in horrible pain. I'm cool with that. I'm fine. I was here. I was watching it. I was like, ooh, tell him, Muzan. I hope you die too, but tell him. And then I wrote about my theory about the rich family, him controlling everything. Also, it cracked me up because once he has to leave, because he has to, Muzan's like, get out of my sight. Like, just leave. And he just has to, with blood dripping from his mouth, politely bow like a little punk because he knows who's in charge and walk off. And then he's beating up Tanjiro's sword. I don't remember if this was right after they were fighting. Because he looks like he threw the sword in the tree. Maybe he just left it there. And he starts punching the tree up. But Tanjiro got in my boy's head. I mean, my bad. My boy Tanjiro got in his head. Because he was super pissed about Tanjiro being like, you freaking coward. We had to fight you in the nighttime when you have an advantage. You gonna fight us in the day? And now he's like, I'm gonna take his head. Oh, Tanjiro puts his sword through your legs, brings your legs back up, beats you over the head with him, and then cuts off your head. Shut the frick up. Quiet you. I don't hear anything from you, freaking coward. Yeah, this is gonna say. It cracked me up. Tanjiro was running over, I think, to go see. Oh wait, not yet. Well, kind of still same thing. Rengoku's brother looks just like him, like literally just like him. I heard this meme from one of my friends beforehand, but they literally do almost all look exactly the same. They're like different Pokemon evolutions of Rengoku. There's Rengoku's father, Rengoku's little brother, who's the first evolution, and Rengoku himself was the middle evolution. Yes. So Zenitsu steals food for his bros, which I thought was a real like sad. Poor I think her name was Aoi-chan. Poor her for cooking all that. He even snuck like a bag that looked like the dumplings. But he was just caring that his friends felt a little bit better, so he brought dumplings for them. I thought it was really nice of Zenitsu. And then, oh no, when Zenitsu gets hit in the head by one of the younger girls, I can't remember what this one's name is specifically, he just keeps saying, Daijobu, Daijobu, but like in his dumb, it's just really funny. Daijobu means it's okay, like it's fine, I'm okay. But it was just really hilarious hearing how he said it. Also, she brings up the fact that Tanjiro left, like he just dipped, and he still has a giant stomach wound, as Zenitsu remembers and like comes to senses. And I think what I like out of this is I'm starting to see some genuine change within some of the characters, which is good. Tanjiro's on his way to go meet Rengoku's brother, who we learned his name is Shinjiro. I think it's Shinjiro. And Shinjiro's like a very nice, quiet kid. He's really shy, won't say as much, and who comes out seeing this after Tanjiro's kind of explaining and saying like, hey, I had a message from your brother, is Rengoku's dickhead of a dad. So you want to talk about a tirade right here? He calls his son worthless. He's like, he's got no talent. That's the reason why he died. I'm not surprised he freaking died, and relates his own son to trash. All I wanted to watch was this big-headed idiot get his head beat. I just wanted to see him hit him over the head with that bottle. Okay? What a prick. What a piece of trash. And it was something to get worse from here for him. I'm sure we're going to get anime backstory. There's a reason why he's sad. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he said all that. Let me put my emotions down on the table right now. I hope I get to watch someone beat him up. Okay? I only got so close. Also, we learned something very important. He sees Tanjiro's earrings and completely goes into a rage, basically. Moves super quickly, grabs Tanjiro, puts him to the ground. And then he brings up, like, oh, you sun breathers came back to come mock us again. And he's like, sun breathing? It's like it's a whole mixture of emotions. So let me go in the order of my notes. As he's tackling Tanjiro, his son goes, Father, we mustn't do that. He's here to give us a message. And then he hits Shinjiro. So now I want him beat up twice as much. Okay? Golly. And so he brings up that the first breathing technique was the strongest. Oh, no. Sun breathing is the first breathing technique, which is made strong, that made all the other ones, and is the strongest. Every other technique is just mimicking that one. So it turns out Tanjiro's dad is probably a G. We're probably going to get some anime. My dad was actually the most overpowered guy in the world, but he was retired when he saw us or met us. And that would also make sense that makes way more sense than why Muzan would target his family specifically. Because if they're a bunch of sun breathers, can't have 8 of those. No. And so Tanjiro is, I think a really good thing that we see with Tanjiro's character as a main MC is it feels like a lot of MCs kind of brush off trauma. Tanjiro's guilt seems to grow more and more as Rengoku's jerk of a dad is yelling and all kind of crap. Tanjiro yells back. Because all he cares about is, you sun breathers are lying to us again, because he doesn't give a crap about his son enough. I don't care what the rest of the episode says. Screw him. Tanjiro's like, do you know what it feels like, knowing that I'm supposed to have some secret technique, and I couldn't save my friend, and all you do is talk smack like this about him? and he goes straight to try and go and punch him until he's also getting punched. Tanjiro is getting socked in the face because he cannot fight his dad, sadly. And it's like I just wrote like what an abusive household. Like his dad is a bum. That's just what I wrote. His dad's a bum. Tanjiro knocks him out with a headbutt by accident, though. I didn't write that part in, but at least that made me feel a little better. But I'll keep calling his dad a lazy bum, especially when he gets knocked out. He starts. I think he goes walking back to go get another think of sake, and he's just drifting along. And all his messages about no talent, that's why they deserve to die, and blah blah blah. It's probably about him, but that doesn't give you any right to act that way. You're a sorry excuse for a grown man. That's what you are. It's one thing to be failing at life, but be trying your hardest to do, like, let's just say, like, he couldn't provide for his family, but, like, he was still trying to, like, work and all that kind of stuff like that, but he just couldn't make that much money. That's one thing. I'm not going to hold that against you. But if you're just going to be a sour sport who beats on his kids, talks mad smack about them, and is just after their death, screw you. Screw you. And I'm sure they're going to try to write him better or whatever else. Screw him. And then Sindro tries to give Tanjiro the books that he thought he needed for learning more about Flame Style, which would probably teach him more about Sun Style, now that he knows that's a thing. But his father ripped up the books, and he's literally just the worst, as I wrote. And here's the thing. Here's what makes him even worse than this, because I want you to think about this. That book, like, I'm sure Tanjiro's going to find a way to learn the technique or whatever else, but let's just say what it is. That book could have had secrets in there that could have made Tanjiro's Sun Style that he's going to develop. Let's say like he gets it to a 5, right? The book could have brought him to a 10 because he knows what he needs to refine. So I'm sure the only way this is going to work is his father's going to have a change of course and what kind of person he is, and he's going to teach Tanjiro at least a little he knows out of guilt. But probably not for right now, and he's making everybody's lives 50 times more difficult and making humanity's chances that much smaller, killing all the demons. Anyways, what really hits too is Tanjiro looking for shortcuts. That's a very realistic way of people trying to obtain a goal, whether it be through like music or arts or skills or even just getting famous. It's nothing but a bunch of shortcuts for a lot of people because it's a lot easier. And Tanjiro's forced to see the fact that he's just going to have to grow raw. Like he just has to figure out what it is he needs to do with just hard work and training, and he even says Susumu, and I just love every time I hear that word in this anime. I can only hear episode 19's music. Susume, Susume, da 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 da, da da, and I just want to start crying. I'm about to start bawling. Bum, bum, bum. Let's get back. Gosh dang it. Tanjiro's in real pain. I think that's what makes him really good as a shonen protagonist, is like he doesn't just brush things off. It's not just like the next episode. It feels like he holds on to things from one season to another of what has motivated him, and though he's a really positive character, that positivity is hiding and shielding a ton of guilt. Golly. He gave. Oh yeah. So after that, Shinjiro basically tells us that he wanted to be his brother's, like, forgot what the term is, but like the younger sibling sword helper or whatever it is. He also has a sword. He'd be out there with his brother, and that made him sad that he obviously thought he could probably be out there with his brother, and it might have changed something. But when he was doing all that sword training, his sword never seemed to change colors, which means he hadn't trained enough, supposedly. And it was sad because he's like, he knows his brother would have forgave him for it. And it wouldn't have been that bad, like, big of a deal to him. And it like teared him. Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. Oh my gosh. It's just so good, man. And then he's just like, I'm just gonna do what I want because I know that's what my brother would forgive me for it. And Tanjiro's just like, if anybody ever says anything, just let me headbutt him. And I know there's a joke at the end of that, but man, golly, dude. And then he gives Tanjiro Rengoku's sword hilt, knowing that's what his brother would have wanted. And clearly, because his brother gave his life to protect all of those people and his younger students, in a sense, right? He really understands what kind of person his brother was, and I think that's more touching than anything else. In a way, it shows, like, his own want to keep his brother, like the memento of his brother. He cares less about his own wants and cares more about what his brother would have wanted. And I thought that was super nice. And then he goes to try to go talk to his father and tell him, he said, I'm going to ask my father if he'll tell me anything about the techniques. Because obviously his father's probably the only one who knows. And he also wants to go tell his father his last words. And he does. His father's at first like, just leave, get out of here, blah blah blah. As he stares at the sun all day, as the lazy prick he is. I'm gonna be as mean as possible to this man. I don't care what happens later on in this manga. I'm gonna be very mean to him. So then he goes, he's all like, brother said, please take care of yourself. And then his father starts getting emotional and starts crying after he thinks of the image of his son. And the first thing I typed out in all caps was, maybe you should have been nicer to your son while he was alive. I get whatever you're dealing with is probably rough, sir, but the only thing you should probably have done with that is to maybe just close yourself off. You don't have to beat your son's head in with all that negativity you got acting that way. You darn prick. I don't have any sympathy for you. Golly. Both of them, too. It's not even like one. It's not even like he just had favoritism. No. Golly, he's not even nice to the second one. After you lost one, he's not even going out to fight. So clearly half the problem isn't about them going out to fight, since that seems to be the part that's getting you to cry. It's clearly half the part that you just don't, that they just bother you since they look like you, and since they're reminding you of something to you. Especially your first son, since he was mimicking you. Maybe you should have been out there helping him, huh? Golly. Piece of trash. I don't care. I know something's gonna happen to him, but let me have my emotions right now. I told you it was gonna be a rant. Well, this episode was so good because this is how you know it's good, because it's getting emotion out of me. Anyways, oh yeah. As Tanjiro is leaving his sword, the dude who makes the sword, it finds him, and I wrote lose the sword, get stabbed, because that's what was happening. He started running after him. Aoi gave him the save at the gate. Zenitsu's doing push-ups because now they're training. Our boys are trying to get strong. It cracked me up because they're doing push-ups with the girls on their back, and he just keeps going, I'm a day. And there was a Shinjinai or something like that, but they're freaking swole. They're like young Gohan swole, which is freaking hilarious. Zenitsu can now go on missions on his own, and that's what I thought, again, with these character traits. Inosuke's was he just got angrier, which isn't really much of an add-on, but I think Inosuke's gotten a lot better with understanding people's emotions in the moment. He doesn't seem as obnoxious, outside of, like, give me your food, but that's one thing. So I think they're having really good, they're progressing, and I really like that. And Zenitsu hasn't gone on a girl trip in quite a while. He's just been, like, shy-ish, nervous kind of garbage. Also, we get Tanjiro and, Nezuko going on a little mission. They tag team a demon real quick, which is cool. Seeing Nezuko get some more action. Again, I'm not going to go too far on this. Then he kills a demon. And then we see, I believe this is the Sound Hashira. I do not remember his name, surprisingly. I don't know if they just didn't say it throughout that entire time and I just didn't write it. But Jim, dude, I'm just going to say that for a minute. Somebody write his name in the comments, because that's the one thing I guess I just didn't pay attention to, because I was so angry about everything else and so enthralled with everything else, because this part's also kind of really good, too. For some reason, he's kidnapping two of the girls for an order, and then we get, oh my gosh, no, I can't remember her name either. God, why are there so many names in anime? I'm trying so hard to remember, like, it's 6 names. Now someone in the comments is going to go, huh, idiot, you couldn't remember the names of those obvious characters that we already knew about? Maybe you should just stop being a moron. It's going to make me sad. Younger butterfly, not Hashira girl, who's not Shinobu, listens and remembers Tanjiro's words about, don't flip a coin about your life, just make your decisions based off your heart. Because Aoi-chan and one of the younger ones are getting kidnapped, and so she runs out and grabs him by his shirt, so it's still kind of funny, but still, like, what the freak's going on? Tanjiro's like, unhand those girls! Also, the girls, as they're running after him, too, because they join in with her, yell Totsugeki, and I know some of you here are gonna... Totsugeki? Totsugeki? I'm guessing Totsugeki also means charge, and not just dolphin. It's one of those probably Japanese words really sound the same-ish puns, like kill to kill, and some other words in that show specifically. And Tanjiro, as he's young, like, put those girls down, is confused because he doesn't know who's grabbing who. It's getting really weird. And then he goes for the headbutt, but Sound Hashira just teleports away. Turns out he was a former ninja. And then they're like, hey, that one girl you kidnapped isn't even a part of, like, the healing squad or whatever thing you need, or secondary units, like he's about to do with Tanjiro, or whatever it is. And so he just throws her off the roof, which was freaking funny. And then Tanjiro catches her, and then he's like, no, I'll go in her stead. And he's like, you? What do you mean, you boys? And then Zenitsu and Inosuke were there, and I was hoping they'd try to punch him again, but No, they just jumped down and did like a really cool pose, which is great. Also, watching them yell at him was really funny, and then Zenitsu trying to be intimidating because this dude's like super ripped. Like if these guys are ripped, this dude is like roided, and so they're just like, oh my gosh. He's like, unhand her, you muscly monster, which cracked me up. Then he says, if you guys don't listen to me, I'm gonna do this to you, and then he spanks her, and I don't know how that made me feel. I felt uncomfortable. And they're going to the entertainment district, and then we get our opening. Basically, so that's our new destination is entertainment district with a bunch of dangerous demons with another Hashira. But this time we're starting off with the Hashira, so I'm sure we're gonna get to know this guy, see what he's like. A flashy ninja is very weird. Ninjas are specifically supposed to blend in. The best thing ninjas do is not even actually wearing those big outfits in black that you guys see. And typically I think they were like blue, so they blend in with the night because black doesn't blend in with the night. He's specifically a flashy ninja. As we learn later in the little short part, he grew up as a ninja who was not very flashy, and all that resentment made him now become the whole, look at how flashy I am. We can see that he's kind of, it almost looks like he's a bit of a player, and because he's got like 3 random girls with him, and they all seem about like his age-ish, so not like what we just experienced. And so he seems to either have a building there, he probably lives in the district or something like that. He's got some place in the district. He's got a lot of gyms on him. I think he's probably rich. We see like backstory for him. Like he's like, it almost looks like an episode of Naruto where he's just kind of looking down at some it's not great. Oh no, yeah, at a grave, but then also like bloody bodies. So probably old teammates or something like that as well. And that's before he was as flashy, it seemed. And then also, I'm just going to say it now, I don't know who this is, and I hope it's not Muzan. If it's Muzan, I'm going to be very pissed. Sexy Demon Lady. I just went, holy Demon Lady, which is I don't think that's how that works. I don't think you can put those 2 words together. But I know you all saw what I saw in that opening. You shush. Anyways, also Geisha Zenitsu. So that was another thing. But overall, this episode was amazing. This episode was absolutely amazing. And you might be mad at me being mad, or you might agree with me being mad, but that's a really good writing. If you're provoking emotion out of the people that are watching your show, regardless if it's negative or positive, typically that means your writing is doing good, as long as that's what's intended. And that is what's intended here. And I really freaking loved this one. That was such a really good episode. Hopefully Tanjiro will learn some stuff. Again, I don't usually get so deep into shonen, because shonen's usually kind of plain at times, but golly, a good shonen hits you right in the emotions. Like it just right there in the gut, and you're just tearing up, bro. Just tearing up. I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Baka Brigade. Pretty sure to subscribe. Leave down in the comments what you thought of this episode. Tell me if you want to punch him in the face too. Leave a like if you want to punch Rengoku's dad in the face once and give Shinjiro a hug. He needs a hug. I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Also, happy birthday, Frederica. You should know what day it is. This is a beautiful day. You better celebrate today, darn it.